This video is to help you set up and configure Moodle. As your Moodle host, we will install the Moodle system and the WiseNet Moodle authentication, enrollment and grade plugins for you. Once complete, you will be notified and all relevant details of your newly installed Moodle site will be sent to you. There are a number of options within the Moodle site administration screens that you can use and set up by yourself. So under the site administration, there are a couple of things I would like to explain to kickstart your Moodle. One is role permissions. So under users, you have permissions. You can define roles for the different staff that you have in your organization. By default, the system has multiple default roles created for you. The basic one is your student. Then comes your teacher and non-editing teacher. Then you have your course creators and then the managers. Apart from these roles, you also have site administrators, which you can set up in the system. A site administrator is a super user who have access to all the parts of Moodle. Now, all these roles that have been defined by default in Moodle are good enough to get you started. But if you want to rename them or change any settings, you just have to click on the settings and change the names accordingly. You can even change the description. By default, the teacher can be assigned to a course or an activity module. But in your case, if you feel like you want to be assigning the teacher at the site level or at the category level to give them access to all the courses within a course category or the site itself, then you can put the tick for the system or the category. If you keep scrolling down, it also gives you the list of capabilities that are allowed for a teacher. And if you feel like there are things missing and you really want them to give more permissions or capabilities for your trainers, feel free to click on allow and go all the way down and save changes. But it is recommended to start using the system with the default role permissions. And as and when you start using Moodle, if you feel like there are things missing, we can always discuss and enable those for you, or you can go into the settings and enable it yourself. The next bit is assigning roles. As I said, from WiseNet, when you invite a new user into Moodle and give them admin rights, they are automatically brought in as site administrators. But if you're giving them user rights and then you want to enable some of them to be site administrators, then you have to come into the permissions, site administrators, and pick and choose your potential users and add them to the list of site administrators. When you're assigning a role at the site level, again, under the permissions, you have assigned system roles. And as I said, if you're assigning somebody at the system level, it means irrespective of they having any role within the course, it'll override it and they will be having the site system role against all those different courses and categories. So be mindful of what you're assigning them at the system level. Now let's talk about the file upload limit. Now by default, Moodle allows your users to upload from 10 MB to 100 MB file. But depending on your own organizational needs, you can restrict these students to only upload to a certain file limit. So if you want to change this, you can definitely change the site level upload limit, or the course level upload limit, or an activity level upload limit. So it's up to you where you want to manage it. If you want to do it at the site level, then it's good to just go into plugins, go into activity modules, assignment, submission plugins, and your file submissions. Under your file submission settings, as you can see, it's been set to 1 MB. you can change this to be your site upload limit of 100 MB. That means all your students, when they submit an assignment, can submit up to 100 MB. So this is changing things at the site level. You can even change this at the course level or even at the assignment level when you create an assignment or a course. Then let's talk about the theme. By default, when we host your Moodle, we usually put your theme to a clean theme, but you can choose your theme selector and change to a different theme that's already installed by default in Moodle. If you do not like any of the themes that we have installed for you, what you can do is go into Moodle themes. All your themes are plugins, so you just have to install the theme in Moodle. So open up the Moodle plugins directory, and depending on the version that you have, usually if you have, if we have newly installed Moodle for you, you would either be on the 3.4 or 3.4, the most latest version, or the other way to check is to go into your registration under the site admin and look for the version that you're on, and you will just find it under Moodle version and Moodle release. So in this case, it's the 3.1 build. So when you are looking for the plugins, always ensure that it's compatible with that particular version, and all you have to do is keep scrolling down, find the right theme for you, click into the theme itself, and then download the theme. Once you've downloaded the theme, you can just come into Moodle. As I said, it's just a plugin, so go into plugins and install the plugin and choose the downloaded file by clicking on choose file. Now just be mindful when you're installing any third-party themes, because we don't support you on the third-party themes. It's not something that we have created for you. So if you have any issues with the theme, or you have any questions, you want to change something or customize something, you will have to go back into the theme itself and ask them the questions, so the creators can come back to you and help you if there are any bugs or any issues with the theme. Now let's look at setting up a course in the course category. Now with your course and the course category, please note that WiStud is not responsible for your Moodle content, so the content needs to be already ready with you guys, like your assignments and the files that you want to upload into Moodle. However, we are happy to provide you guidance with some best practices for setting up these courses and course categories in Moodle, and this would be given as part of your training anyway. And at any point in time, if you have questions, you can always give us a call or log a ticket. Now, before we go ahead and start creating and managing your courses and categories, there are things that you need to really consider. Now, think about your learner experience, because that's what's very important. It's an e-learning platform, so obviously you're not going to have that face-to-face sessions with your students, or you're not going to have like that constant meeting, so you can keep asking them about their experience. So always remember, it's something that the student really have to go in and day out and really have that interest to click into assignments and do these things at their own pace. And it's good when you actually add more pictures and more images and have things interactive for them, so it's interesting for them to actually log into a course and complete the course. Now, also to consider is, how do you want your learners to access these courses and units? Sometimes you don't want your learners to just go into a category called management and just have access to the entire qualification called Cert 4 in Marketing. Instead, you may want to have each unit as a course. So it's up to you how you want to manage this. Think about, if you want your learners to be enrolled into just one unit at a time, then you can create each unit as a course. Or if you want your learners to be enrolled in clusters, then you would be creating each cluster as a course. Or, it doesn't matter, you just want your learners to be enrolled into the entire course. And then you can, of course, in Moodle you have restricting access and things like that within a course that you can add onto it. So you can just create the entire course in Moodle. Then we'll talk about how to organize your course. Now, before I go into that, let's look at how to create a category. So the first thing you do is create a new category. Category is nothing but like a faculty or kind of like a grouping method. So let's say you want all your orientation and induction courses to be in one, then you have your full accredited courses into another category, and then a non-accredited. So it's up to you how you want to manage this. So create the category, then you create the course. Now, creating a category is very simple. So when you click on create new category, you give it a name. The parent category by default is going to be just top. You're not going to see any of these existing categories, so just leave it as top. I'm just going to create a test category here. You don't need anything else, just go create category. So once you've created the category, the next bit is going to be creating that new course under that category. So the course full name, this would be the course description from training.gov, or if you're creating the unit as a course, then it'll be the unit description. Same thing, the short name is going to be the course code or the unit code. Alright, by default it puts itself under the course category called test, whatever we created, but you can change it at any point. The course start date by default will be tomorrow, but you can change it again. You can move it to the future if required. So that's kind of, the day from which your students can enroll into this course. You can put in a course summary. You can even have course information files and other things uploaded into the summary files. The course format is very important. If you're going to have weekly intakes and every week there's a specific thing that you're going to complete online, you could have weekly format. Or, because it's online, it's kind of self-paced, you really don't have a weekly format or weekly things for your students to complete, then I would just change it into a topics format. The social format is usually used when there are no graded assignments. It's just kind of a course where you have forums and chat rooms and things like that, where the student is just coming in to leave a discussion topic and get some feedback. That's when you would use a social format. Or if you have just a single activity, which means the entire unit has just one activity for them to complete. It could be a SCOM package or a quiz or anything of that sort, would be a single activity format. Topics is what you would mainly use. And then depending on the number of topics you require, let's say that unit has 3 different things that you want to put in there, like an introduction, and then the course material, and then the assignments, you could just choose 3 different sections. Or if you're creating the entire course in Moodle, then you would have the number of sections equal to the number of units that you have. And then you could even have hidden sections and all that. You can choose to force a language. If you do deliver your courses in other languages like Korean or Chinese, you can choose to just show the course in that particular language. The file upload limit, the one that I spoke to you about before, was at the site level, but you can even change it at the course level, as I said. You can enable completion tracking, so the student can see how many assignments they've completed within a course. You can group your students. You can have your own role mapping at the course level, and you can even have tags in here. And then you would just go save and display. So as soon as you save the course, it'll bring you to the enrolled user screen. You don't have to do anything in here because the YSIT Moodle connector is going to take care of this bit. So what we're going to do is go back in here and click on your course itself. Turn the editing on. This is what will allow you to upload assignments and tasks. So once you click on Turn Editing On, you will see the Add an Activity or a Resource. The top part is always for generic introduction of the course. So there's a default forum created for any announcements, but if you don't need it, you can just click on Edit and delete that. You can upload any files, you can even write an introduction in there. So all you have to do is click Edit, edit the section, and type in a general introduction. You can even give it a name called Introduction. And if you need more options to edit things, you can click on that. You can change the font family, font size, the colors, and all those different things. Okay, so it automatically puts in the introduction there. And when you turn the editing off, that's the way it will look like. So you can always keep turning the editing off to see what your students will say, because your students don't have access to editing or adding an activity or a resource. So it's always good to turn editing on and off to see the layout of the course that you've created. Now in terms of your topics, again, you can click on edit the topic to change the topic name to your actual unit, or if you want to call it course materials or assignments or whatever you want to have as a heading, you can change it accordingly. And when you click on activity or a resource, it allows you to either upload a resource in the format of an ebook, file, folder, IMS contents, or just having a page or a URL linking to YouTube or Vimeo. Or you can even have activities that are hand-in assignments or a quiz or a lesson and all those different things. As soon as you click on the activity or a resource, it actually gives you more information about what kind of an activity it is. And when you click on more help, it also takes you into the Moodle resource itself to explain a little bit more about the settings and things that you can do within each of these activities in the resource. So once you have set up your content, the next thing to do is go into the users, click on enrolled users, because with your trainers you need to enroll them manually. So as soon as you give them access to Moodle through the profile and send a new invitation to a user, you'll be able to, once they've created their profile with their username and password, when you click on enroll users, you should be able to find them in the list and assign them the role of a teacher or a non-editing teacher, depending on what you want to give them, and then finish enrolling the users. With your students though, it's a little different. You would be going into enrollment methods, WiseNet Moodle connector, and then pasting the course offer or the unit offer code in here. So when you enable their e-learning access from WiseNet, they're automatically brought into Moodle for you. Hope this video helps you with getting started with Moodle. And of course, as I said, your training will definitely cover all these things. But if you have further questions and if you need a one-on-one chat or a training session, feel free to give us a call or log a ticket. Thank you.